Hello. Are you still sleepy? All right. Thank you to my boss, Dr. Sopon, for inviting me again. Hello there. Yes, I will be speaking and discussing with you planning, development, and management of resort property, which was assigned to me by my dear friend, Dr. Supon. But before I do that, allow me to acknowledge the delegates from the Philippines. May I invite them to rise and give them a round of applause? Asa na? Okay. All right. Thank you, Kapungka. Well, my name is Dr. Eduard G. Ong. They call me EG. I know there's so many Ongs. The other presenter was also Dr. Ong, but I would want to be called Dr. E.G. Ong. And after listening to the various presentations, great presentation this morning and this afternoon, I said to myself, I will just go academics because I am in the Philippines, I'm the first chairman of the Professional Regulatory Board of Real Estate Service in charge of licensing and regulating all of the real estate practices in the whole archipelago, in the whole Philippines. And likewise, I am chairman of the Philippine Federation of Real Estate Service Professional and vice chairman of PIAPSI Philippines. Although recently, I was so happy because I was invited by Dr. Sopon to be one of the directors of the Thailand Real Estate Business School. Thank you, Dr. Sopon. And I have decided, because of the great presentations that I have heard and listened, I have decided to go more of academics, being a dean of the College of Real Estate Management in the Philippines. And so I would want to walk you through to the rudiments of real estate planning, development, and management of resort properties. And that's why, please bear with me, I have asked Dr. Stupon to give me more than 30 minutes to present, but he said no, only 20 minutes. So I'll try to fast track my presentation. All right. So I have decided to divide my presentation into 1, 2, 3, 4, the key elements, no? Planning, developing, and managing resort properties. The key elements in resort development. Well, we look at the common feature of top resorts, key takeaways for resort success in the Philippines, and lessons from top resorts in the Philippines. Well, of course, later on, as I move on, I'll be discussing more of the challenges in resort development and management in the Philippines, and conclusion, achieving resort excellence. And at the end, I'll be showing you the 10, in a nutshell, the 10 most outstanding resorts development in the Philippines. Okay ba yan? Okay? All right. Okay. The essence of resort development. Well, I want to discuss with you an overview of the resort industry in the Philippines. The Philippines, with its pristine beaches and crystal clean waters, and of course, the tropical climate and the premier destination of most tourists, international tourists, and tourism is one of the priorities, one of the best industries in our country. Well, why resorts? In the Philippines, resorts are more than just places for accommodation. They offer unique experiences and are key drivers of tourism. However, let me emphasize that the success of a resort hinges on three critical process, and that is planning, development, and management. You all remember that in academics, you look at the business cycle, isn't it? The business cycle from startup, introduction, and then that is what planning means, development, and eventually going into growth, and of course, maturity and decline. However, our resort industry in the Philippines, I think, has been on top now, and they are now in the growth sector or growth areas in our country. Well, my objective is to guide you through the essential steps in building a successful resort business. It will provide practical insights and real world examples from some of the most celebrated beach resorts in the Philippines. By understanding their strategies and practices, you can apply similar principles to your own ventures, maybe elsewhere in Asia. Let's move on planning. Sorry. Okay. So everything starts with planning. It is getting together, putting together all the bits and pieces that you need to do, to assemble, to be able to organize and plan, organize and direct the necessary tools to achieve your goal. We move into development. Development is important because it is how you run through from the time that you have presented your plan. It is now enough or primordial for you to execute your plan. So therefore, it is important that you do the concept of resort is very important in the Philippine industry. So as you look at the presentation, perhaps you would read along with me, and in the interest of time, I'll try to skip some, but this will be available with you and in you as you move on in your website. So what do I want in a resort? Huh? Branding is a unique concept, serves as the correction for building a strong brand. You all know that we have to be your brand. I want to be the best destination in the Philippines. So that is how I establish my brand. And second is you have to look at your target market. What market are you moving? What do you want to get? Is it in the class A, B, C, D, and E? Is it for the affluent, the middle income, or for the general public? And that is what you should do. In the Philippines, we have all of those kind of categories. Okay, so we look at then, if you plan, look at the experience of the people running the show. It is important that you be able to determine the capacity of all of those who are going to execute the plan. And of course, in the process, you have to integrate local cultures and environment, because travelers today seek authentic, immersive experiences integrating local culture. As you can see in our area from the Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, you can see ethnic presentations so that they can adapt to what the locals are doing. Okay. So moving on, we have expatiated on planning, which is very important, developing, moving forward, we go now into management or managing. Okay, so what is managing? Operations management, marketing and sales strategy. These are all important in consideration that you have to look into. Well, management, as you all know, have four basic functions: right planning, organizing, leading or directing the right people, and controlling the resources that you have. So it is important that you employ this kind of, but most importantly, I should say, is hiring the right people to do, to execute, and to be able to discharge the functions and responsibilities of your endeavor. Okay. So you have to look at the guest experience and satisfaction. What would my guests want to do? And what's important is you get feedbacks from them. And that's why they have what you call a feedback box or email or QR code. And very important, as Dr. Ong has mentioned, financial management and reporting. It is money that is coming into the coffers of the resort would, well, of course, you have to be always on the block. But in the beginning, they say that in organizing a business, on the first year, perhaps you will just go break even. But on the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth, and so on, it will have to be on the block. If it's on the red, on the, say, negative side, then you have to look back and really go back to the drawing board and see what went wrong, what's the problem, and how I can correct the problem. So financial, it is important that you have to have budget, you have cost control, you have revenue management, and of course, importantly, financial reporting by all in all sectors, in all departments of your resort. Okay, now let's move on to the key elements in resort development. All right, location, location, location. You all know that in real estate, one of the most or the best thing that you have to consider is the location. Gus mentioned to you about the property in Cebu, which is a best location for tourism development. All right? So strategic location, site selection, accessibility, and environmental integration, blending the resort design with the natural landscape. Huh? All right. Now, market research and feasibility. Of course, before you go into any kind of project, you have to do research. Just like what Dr. Supon is saying, plan. You just don't jump into the fire. No? Study whether the fire is not hot. And so therefore, it is important for you to do market research and feasibility. And as what Gus has said, important to do valuation, important to do appraisal of property that you are going to develop. Why? Because most people, most developers, they don't have enough resources to finance the resort development. So what do? They borrow money. When they borrow money, you need to have a veritable appraisal report so that it can be used by the bank, by people, and also for you to benchmark in what profit are you gonna, what the percentage of profitability that you're going to make. Third is sustainable design and architecture. You see, eco-friendly materials, cultural sensitivity, and flexibility design. It's important that you can see as I present after my PowerPoint presentation the 10 most viable results in the Philippines, then you will see how they pair into, they have similarities. No? Okay. Now, luxury accommodation offers diverse options like villas and suites, comprehensive amenities and facilities. Amenities, dining options provides multiple cuisine and the theme restaurants. Okay. So, what else? Personalization. Customize. Customize your services, experiences using what? You benchmark on the guest data. Staff training, ensure high quality, courteous service. That is one particular way wherein what I notice whenever I go to hotels, these services of the staff, do they smile? Are they very cordial? Are they helpful? You have to do that and put it in the suggestion box, recommendation. And then, of course, tech integration using smart technology for booking and concierge. I know now that we are now starting to use technology. I was in Japan some years back. And you know, technology-wise, they are updated, they are advanced. I'm even being, accosted by a robot, no? And that's why AI is very much present in this particular development. Okay. Waste management. What about our waste? Implement recycling and waste reduction methods. Energy efficiency, because most, you know, that is always lighted. How much this? That has to be calculated. Renewable energy sources like solar. In the Philippines, we are now moving into solar panels. And community engagement, support local business, and hire local staff. Why? Because they know best. They know more. Okay? So, zoning laws ensure of the compliance to legal or to legislative land use regulations. Environment permits, you have to get permits where you can operate. Then approvals for construction in protected areas. I remember in Subic, they have a hard time putting up a hotel. Do you remember that, guys? But now they have to look into the environmental constraints. Now, safety standards adhere to the fire safety and disaster preparedness protocol. Fire, you don't know when it will come. So you have to be prepared. Okay, capital allocation, allocate budget efficiently for operations. ROI projection set realistic financial goals. As I've said, maybe on the first year, you don't make money. But maybe you lose. But what is most important is you break even. What is break-even point? You reach the break-even point wherein you have no losses, no income, no loss. Break even. And then investors' relation maintain transparency with stakeholders. Of course, you'll be getting a lot of investments from outside, and you have to satisfy them. So it's important that you deal with them and explain to them, elucidate to them the result and the proposed outcome of the project.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? That's it. Yan. Then,
We have no more time.
I have 2 minutes. Okay, all right. So would you want me to just show the video?
No, during the break. Maybe during the break. We will show
All
video
right.
for you.
Continuous improvement. And then we'll have pictures. Then anyway, you'll have copy of this, no? Okay. And these are takeaways for resort success and lessons from the top. Then innovative design, diverse activities, operational efficiency, collaborative partnership, crisis management is very important. What are the challenges? Well, environmental concerns, competition, economic risk, cultural sensitivity, and technological adaptation. All right, what's my conclusion? That's it. Well, build partnership, leverage innovation, prioritize guests, and then commit your sustainability and emphasize on service. And that, I think, is the end of my very presentation. We have a center in Manila where we offer bachelor's degree in real estate management, also MBA program with the school in Scandinavia. So if you are interested to just be a real estate broker or appraiser, be on the next level real estate expert, get your IBSS MBA in REM today. All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's it.
So let me invite Mr. Benjawat Tanti Wongsakit, our board member of the
Lacking time.
Home Buyer Association.
You know what I presented to you would have been presented beautifully in about 1 hour.
Actually, it should be 1 day because very knowledgeable.
All right, thank you.
20 minutes. So sorry indeed. Mr. Benjawan, please. So I'm sorry that I have a very short time for you, but normally he teach very beautifully.